Hello, hello, Aldwyn, Altuney here. We have the amazing Tammy, Richie here. Welcome to Media Queen TV. Tammy is an amazing lady. She is constantly making a difference out there. She's an entrepreneur. She has a huge heart for people and amazing story. She is running some first aid courses on the Gold Coast to support the Sanctuary Refuge for Women, Children and their pets. And she does a whole lot more. Welcome, Tammy, Richie.
Oh, thank you so much, Aldwyn. Hi, everyone. It's awesome to be here and so nice to see you, Aldwyn, and see your big, beautiful smile.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you here. It is phenomenal what you do. Can you share a little bit about your story? I know you've got a very deep story that maybe a lot of people don't know about. So could you please share a bit about your story?
Yeah, sure. See, so for those of you that are out there that don't know my story, you might need a box of tissues because things happen for us and they do sometimes tend to happen to wake us up, to get us onto the path that we need to go to. So I'm not different from any other person. I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, just like many of you out there as well. But what actually happened is I was an engineer on aircraft for 17 years where I met my wonderful husband, Top Gun romance, and we have three gorgeous children. Eldest 22, 19, and then now a 14-year-old little boy as well. So we met many years ago, and whilst we were working together on aircraft, I had done that for 17 years. And when we had our last child, Carson, I was stirring my soul. I was wondering, what am I going to do? How can I go back to that career that it no longer fulfilled me? Like, I was so grateful and so blessed to do so many amazing things that most women would never get the opportunity to do, especially being a female in a male-dominated world. But at that stage of my life, I just thought, oh my goodness, how can I go back to that career? So during that career, I worked, and I was also doing a teaching degree as well. And I was just so busy. I got sick as well. And then I was pregnant with our little boy. So whilst I was on maternity leave with our last little boy, it was then my decision that I thought, oh my goodness, I've got 12 months to just breathe, to stop being so busy, just to take my shoes off, to get out in nature, to immerse in the ocean and the sand, to meditate, to create space. And Aldwyn, that was the most amazing thing that I could have ever done, because that's the thing that really, truly did help me when I had a massive tragedy occur. So what actually happened is all of those things allowed me to tune into my heart, because during that time, we moved into a brand new home. We were just unpacking boxes. It was really exciting day. My husband was at Bunnings getting child locks. My other children were being looked after. The only little guy that I had in my care that day was my little boy, who was just 16 months of age. I had him down right within my sight, got busy unpacking boxes, and then I got this terrible feeling that was in my heart. My head was trying to justify, trying to tell me that, you know what, he's probably playing with his toys. He may be possibly painting your wall with the wall with makeup, or doing something like that. But it was trying to say that he would be safe. And my heart, because of the things I had done before, wouldn't allow that. It pushed me. In fact, it forced me. And I saw some things that I didn't really want to see with regards to an outside area, but I didn't want to believe it. So I didn't listen to my head. I went with my heart, and I decided to go room by room, box by box, to try and find my little boy. And I couldn't find him anywhere. He was completely missing. So then I had to take the steps to the vision that I had seen that I didn't want to go to, which was every parent's worst nightmare. As I took steps closer to my pool, that, I might add, was fenced at the time, it was my absolute horror that my little guy, the only little one that was in my care at the time, the only one that, I was meant to be watching, the one that we created that was so excited to have, was now suddenly floating and unconscious, fully clothed, nappy on, shoes on, the whole bit, in our backyard pool on my watch.
Wow.
You can just imagine the absolute horror that came from that. And then at that moment, Aldwyn, I was like trying to find someone to help me. I was screaming out to neighbours, just to someone, to anyone. My husband was at Bunnings getting child locks to make sure our house was safe. So ironic that this was happening at that time. So I didn't have anyone there to give my power to. It was up to me. I had to get him out of the pool. He's lifeless in my arms. I remember clearly thinking I need to call 000. I raced inside with him in my arms, frantically screaming, picked up the phone to find that the dial tone was dead. Everything that was meant to help me failed me. I had nothing else to do. I had him in my arms, and divinely something came over me that said, stop, breathe. Because my head was trying to create all these stories. My head was telling me that I couldn't do anything, that I'd lost him. And I thought, how can I actually call my husband and children and say, hey, our little guy that's part of our family is not part of our family anymore. This is how real it is, Aldwyn. This is the real story. And so I couldn't think of anything worse. And I knew that I was trained in CPR. Particularly being an engineer on aircraft, we had to be. But every time I did it, I felt so let down because it was for the tick in the box. Every time I carried out the training, I walked out of there thinking, yep, awesome. I've got it for the tick in the box for the legislative requirements. But I honestly had said, I don't think I could ever use this and save anybody. Now, all of a sudden, I'm faced with those tools that I felt so let down for. And I wasn't blaming the trainers. I was blaming myself as well for not actually taking in that information. Although when I was doing the training, it was mainly focused on adults. And at that time, they used to recommend doing different compressions and ratios for infants as well as children. So I was totally confused. With me breathing, that allowed me to get over myself and realize that it's not about me, it's about him. And if I don't do something, anything right now, he would not be with us. And, like how often in life do we not have all the ducks lined up? Are we waiting till we get everything perfect, till we launch that next program and blah, blah, blah? Whereas really, that's not the case. That's not how it's going to run. Because those of us that are perfectionists, or I'm a pre-perfectionist, now I needed to get over myself and realize that it didn't matter. It did not need to be perfect, but I needed to do something to help him. And so with that in mind, I lay him down, did the first lot of rotations. It wasn't perfect. I can't even tell you what I actually did. Nothing happened. And then I stopped, tried again. With the second rotation, he started breathing. I just could not believe it. With that, I then raced around and I found my mobile phone, and I was then able to call 000. They stayed with me on the phone, supporting me until emergency services arrived, which was some 15 minutes later after I logged the call. If I wouldn't have known anything at all, there is no way that he would still be with me right now. So when the paramedics did arrive, they were expecting the worst, because they always expect the worst. However, when they arrived and they could see that he was crying, they stood with me, they held me, and they cried. And they said to me, your story is so powerful. We need to immerse you in the media. And with that, after we were out of hospital, we were on Sunrise, we were on every network Australia-wide pretty well. And that was my key. So I was questioning about going back to the engineering, thinking this was going to be my last career until I retired. And I just thought, oh my goodness, I'm worn out, I'm tired, I'm blah, blah, blah. So this all of a sudden was a key for me, because I realized that it happened for me to wake me up, to tune me into my heart space, to show me what my purpose and mission is. And so with that tools in place, I had no idea. I'd never been in business before, and nor did I need to be. I had a purpose, and my why was bigger than my why not, and I honestly became unstoppable. I had to go out and network, but with the media's help and the Queensland government's support, I quickly became highly sought after I decided to develop training where others could actually learn the first aid training from the Australian Resuscitation Council. But not only that, They'll learn the things that I learnt during that day. Because let me tell you, there was so many things that I learnt. Mindset is the biggest thing that I learnt during that time. And as the business grew and I started winning awards amongst other people, which is when I think we first met, was one of my very first awards that I won that I was totally shocked about, because I wasn't doing it for recognition at all. I was literally doing it because I had a responsibility. How could I unknow this stuff? How could I unknow my story? My story is powerful. It happened for me. I do realize that. And I had a responsibility. It's a gift to get it out there. And so that's what I did. It's just like incredible. And I never ever expected to use the tools. And not always is CPR always going to save everyone either. But imagine not having those tools at all to be able to try to do anything, and not having my little boy with me. I'm so grateful. He's 14 now. He's the best little guy around. He tries hard. I've been able to watch every single milestone that he's had, and I'm just so blessed that I've been able to do that, because my life could have been so different had I not have known. It kind of just went on from there, though. You know, like there's been a lot of stuff happen as a result of that. So it wasn't just the first aid training. This is my passion project, you might say, because you know, I'll continue to do this. I heard on the news today actually that the biggest killer of our children is childhood drowning. And it just rips me apart, because all this awareness, all this advocating, all of this sharing and speaking and doing whatever I've done, I just feel so let down, because people just don't realize that it can happen to them. And if it does happen to them, they don't take responsibility. They don't take the blame. They blame other people or whatever. You know, during that time when I had my incident, I take full responsibility. Yes, we paid for a building inspection. Yes, I realized that somehow the $1 million question, how my little guy got into the pool, I'll never know that, ever. But you know what? I realized that even if you get a pool gate and it's certified, within the next couple of hours, it could change. It doesn't mean that just because it's closing at one point, it's going to continue to close, because the weather changes these things. So a pool gate, when they changed the laws, they actually changed the laws as a result of my incident and other incidents that had occurred around that time. And yes, I'm thankful, but I would never have purchased a house without a pool fence. And so I'm grateful that they do see the importance of the pool fence. However, it's not an effective barrier. It wasn't in my case. Carson was fully clothed, nappy on, shoes on, the whole bit. I'll never know how we got into the pool. And we have to remind ourselves that we were children once, and we didn't see fear. It's life that brings us and instills fear. And that, in fact, sets up these patterns that where we spend our time trying to remove limiting patterns and things that are holding us back. However, little kids don't. And so he would have just gone, Mum's busy. Oh, well, pool's there. That's awesome. I'll just go and sneak out and have a little bit of fun. She'll be fine. Do I need my swimmers on? No way. It's a cold day. Doesn't matter. I'll just jump in. You know, I can just see his whole thought mentality behind it. So there's a really awesome tip that I do share with my clients, and that's simply just putting a bell on your pool gate if you do have a pool, because I heard nothing. There's no splash, no scream, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it horrifies me still to this day. However, had I have had a bell on my gate, possibly I would have heard him getting into that area as well. And also the swimming, children, it's not just, you know, drowning doesn't affect just children. Incidents can happen. We never plan incidents. 20 seconds can literally change your life forever. From stroke to heart attack, it's not just young kids. It's kind of everyone. So it is really something that I'm passionate about. Yeah, definitely.
I get it. Wow, what an extraordinary story. You know, my dad is 83 now, and he has had 4 heart attacks. He survived diabetes, prostate cancer. But the stats are with heart attack is that 70% of people who have heart attacks actually die on the first heart attack. And so he's been given many leases of life, thankfully. His time's not up yet. But the fact is, it can happen at any moment to anyone. And we often think, oh, this won't happen to me or won't happen to my loved ones. But the fact is, it can happen. And, you know, doing a first aid course could be absolutely crucial to saving someone's life. And so how soon after that happened to your son, how soon after that did you actually start to learn about the first aid courses?
Okay, so pretty well within the same week, I reckon the next week, the school because we lived on the same street as the school back at that time on the Gold Coast. And so the school got together a training company to deliver the training at the school and put it out there to the parents just to support me. So I put my hand up and said, yep, I'll do a course, even though I just, done it. I'll be proactive. And I was the only parent. There wasn't anyone else. So I was so let down, and I was asking other parents, are you guys going to book in? What's the story? And they're like, oh, no, my husband knows. Everyone is saying my husband knows, my husband knows. I'm like, what part of my husband being at Bunnings getting child locks do you not understand? So, there was those stories. And then Carson is he's just an incredible little kid, very, very smart. There was no brain damage whatsoever when he had the incident. And let me tell you, it's only 3 minutes before brain damage occurs. So all of that stuff I shared with you happened in less than 3 minutes. But he went on to be an adventurous little boy, and we spent a lot of time at the Gold Coast Hospital. They got to know us really, really well. So it wasn't until he had his next incident, which is pretty full-on extreme, where I had to save him again, when I went, all right, I get it. I want to stop recruiting these incidents because I know I've got a responsibility to do something. So that was when he was 2. So it was literally around that time that I made the decision that I have to do something.
Yeah. Amazing. Wow. And so what's involved with the first aid courses that you're offering at the moment? How does it work?
It's really easy to do nowadays. It's so easy. So with COVID, when COVID happened, so my company delivers training in a lot of the universities, a lot of corporates, communities and families. And, I've got a lot of support out there. So thank you to all the supporters. It's pretty incredible. But when COVID happened, we had to become resourceful and pivot just like everyone else, because all of a sudden we couldn't have the people in the classrooms. In fact, the universities closed down. So what actually happened is we had to go online to be able to cater for the people, so that people could still do the training via videos, which they can do. And it was something that always wanted to do but just never did it. But COVID forced us to do that because we had to reduce the amount of time we were spending with people and the amount of numbers as well. So when the university contacted me and they said, oh my goodness, can you deliver the training online? And I was able to say, yes, in fact, we can. And they were so excited. They didn't even have any classroom anymore. I live on a beautiful property. It's acreage property out at Mudgeeraba, and I have a 10 by 10 metre deck. And we weren't allowed people inside even, and we had to restrict the numbers, but I could deliver the training on my deck. So people do mostly it online through videos. They even do the exam before they come. For the full first aid, they can stop and start the training. They don't need to sit in the one session to continue. They can do 10 minutes here and there. It's really flexible. They do that training online before they arrive to come and see me. When they come and see me, it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours where I ensure they have a thorough understanding of the content taught and give them heaps of other tips and tricks that I use that really did help me during the journeys that I've been on as well. So it's really not much time. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And when have you got your courses coming up?
So the courses, I just wanted to share. So that's one of the things that I do. I do many other businesses as well. So I'll share some of those in a minute as well. But what we've got with this fundraiser, so there was another gorgeous friend of mine, Kerry. And Kerry, there's a place called the Sanctuary that you mentioned on the Gold Coast, and the Sanctuary Refuge. They look after women in the case of domestic violence. It gives them a place to be able to heal their broken wings, give them some respite. There's people like myself that go out there and mentor the ladies and just give them space. And there's ladies that come out there and do yoga and really just upskill these ladies. And Simone, the owner, is such an amazing lady. So she lines them all up and tries to help get grants and stuff like that, or different training to actually help them upskill them so that they can then leave the facility in about the 3-month period and they feel transformed. Absolutely amazing. So Simone created the refuge a number of years ago, and it isn't government funded. So a lot of it is based on volunteers, and they do get a lot of people supporting through training or just being there as well, and donating goods and, donating their time and services in terms of builders and painters and all that kind of thing. It's absolutely spectacular. It's a breath of fresh air. There's like so many animals out there, because it's not just for women, it's also for women, their children and their animals, as you mentioned. But also Simone has a lot of animals there as well. So she's got like ducks and peacocks and, goats and sheep and, chickens, all these kinds of things out there. So it's a really amazing place to be in any case. And she's made it really invited for the ladies as well. So Simone, another girlfriend of mine, Kerry, was out there volunteering at Christmas time, and one of the children that were out there injured themselves. And so Kerry is a registered nurse, and she was looking for some first aid supplies to help with the little boy, and she couldn't find any. So that highlighted to us that, okay, where are the first aid supplies? And that was pretty inadequate. So we realized that, okay, we need to do something. And then also, because of the nature of where it is, and because of the nature of the ladies that go through and the perpetrators that are there, it's kind of hidden off the road, and it's in a gated community. So it's very protected. The ladies are very protected, which is amazing for them to heal. That could be a real hindrance if an incident were to occur and an ambulance to arrive. So that led us to then explore the possibility that, anyone can go into cardiac arrest at any time. It doesn't need to be an older person. And we, that studies have been, not just studies, but Greg from the Wiggles had to use a defibrillator to bring him out of cardiac arrest. Many people from in the gyms and all that. So cardiac arrest is a really common thing that can occur. And when an ambulance arrives, they've usually got a defibrillator with them. But because of the nature of where it's located, it could be a hindrance. So we made the decision that, they would really benefit from having a defibrillator based there on site. And so one of my companies actually distributes the defibrillators as well. So we could get one at cost price, which is awesome, but it still costs a lot of money. So we made the decision that, hang on, we need these first aid supplies. We need the defibrillator. What can we do to actually bring it together to raise funds? And so that's when I went, what if I delivered the training and the public come, they pay full price, what I normally charge for my certificates anyways. It's nationally recognized training. And let me tell you, the need for it is not just to protect your loved ones, but it is also for legislative purposes. So if we're running events or running businesses, you need to do a risk assessment to make the decision whether or not you need it. Because if something were to happen, insurances are going to go through to see what training has been provided. And unfortunately, if there hasn't been and no one's actually said, yep, I'm going to do the training, it could be, play a big role in that kind of thing as well. So with that, they're nationally recognised. People pay me the full price, and then I donate a large sum of that into the fund to be able to put that towards the purchases that we have. Those dates that we're running those courses, they're specifically for those dates. The 20th of February and the 6th of March at this stage. So you can choose one of those dates, and it's usually from about 12:30 to about 2 hours as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And how can people join up for that?
So they can join up by visiting www.firstaidwhyoucan2.com. They go to the top of the tab on the right-hand side. It's options or more. Drop down, and then they can see bookings and calendar. So when it comes to the calendar, they can choose one of those dates, which is coloured in turquoise. They can choose one of those dates, and when they choose the date, they book in, they register their details. They'll get an email registration to say, this is where you can commence your studies, your online training, and this is where the training will take part as well. So it's going to be on the Gold Coast, on the southern end of the Gold Coast, where the training will be running. So once you book in, you secure your place, you'll get it. You'll get all the information on how to turn up to that training to make it possible.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for that. And we could pop that link into the comments here. And thank you to everyone who's joining us live right now. Love to hear from you. Where are you joining us from? If you're watching this at Media Queen TV on YouTube or on Facebook, wherever you're watching this, say hello. Let us know where you're from. What are you getting from this conversation so far? If you have any questions, pop them into the comments. We'll be going for about another half an hour or so. So I'd love to hear from you. Now, you mentioned some other businesses, Tammy. Please let us know.
Yeah.
What are these other businesses you have going on?
Okay, well, obviously being an engineer, like I was in my head at that time, and obviously having a massive wake up call, and I followed the heart and created success as a result of that. Because I must add that First Aid Why You Can Too is an internationally award winning business, and this is from someone that had no idea what they were doing, right? So, if you have a mission, you can actually achieve big things, and that opens up big doors as well. So many people started to then ask me, well, hang on a minute, how did you do that? How did you give up that to do that? I'm like, well, shivers, I don't know. Anyway, there was a lot of tools and tips that I've been doing my whole life. And I realized then during that time that I was doing them even more effective, which actually helped me to get out of the fear and do it, and to get out of the comfort zone and just do it anyway, to realize that it wasn't about me, that I had a responsibility to do that. So then people started to come to lots of trainings that I did. I am very, like you, Aldwyn, I absolutely love personal development, and I've been blessed to have some of the world's best mentors, coaches in my world. So thanks T. Harbecker, Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols, the list goes on. And they've seen something in me, and they've really allowed me to remove all the clutter and get into the truth. And with that truth, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened. So with all of that in mind, and seeing how powerful those tools were that actually helped me to do those things, to give up the engineering to do that, I realized that it was really important for me to create workshops, retreats, and all those kinds of things, and speak. So I'm blessed to have I'm an international speaker as well. So I've been blessed to speak leadership in different countries and all those kinds of things, and run retreats and stuff. So I'm really grateful for all those opportunities, and everyone that sees something in me, because they reach out. It wasn't even advertised, they'd just reach out. And then I thought, okay, now's time to do this. So that was one thing. Why You Can Too helps people discover their why by deciding they can, so they can live a life that they deserve, because it is all about them. It's all about removing limiting beliefs, uncovering them, doing interventions, because I do, sometimes you've got to do the hard stuff to actually get to the root cause. And there's patterns that have been set up from childhood sometimes. And so having all the knowledge, and I was doing all of these things for years before I attended any seminars as well. But I've learned a lot by being at the seminars. But it's all about identifying where the first pain existed and changing that pain to a more empowering meaning. And then the rest is history. There's a lot of work that goes into it. But along the lines, when just not long or around the same time that my little boy had the drowning incident, I was also diagnosed with a couple of autoimmune diseases. So during that time, I was sick. I was on heavy treatment. I had other children. I still just had to push on through. It would have been so easy for me to stay in bed some days, but I didn't have the choice. I had to get up. And so with that, when I was diagnosed, they told me it was for life, and I realized that no, it isn't. Nothing's permanent. Only our soul's permanent. I'm not going to let this keep me for life. And so even though I was on the heavy treatment for 8.5 years, I also researched ways that I could regain my health as well, holistically. So that's exactly what I did. So the personal development and doing the interventions, because disease that I had is disease with the body, some emotion. So I had a lot of trauma in my early part of my life. I was adopted, and I lost my identical twin at birth. So everyone I knew, everything I knew, I was grieving from day one, basically. And then I entered into a home where my mum just really didn't know how to love. That's my adopted mum. And so I suffered a lot, emotional and physical abuse. But, through all that, I gained a lot of strength and resilience as well. So all of that strength and resilience is put into what I do now as well. But also the fear that I put to that, because every time my mum's name was mentioned, or she was kind of come and visit, I physically would freeze. And so that manifested into diseases. And so I had to do the inner work. So it's the inner work that really does help us. I had to do the healing, the forgiveness, the inner child forgiveness for my mum. There was a lot of work that was carried out. And then also being mindful of what went on in and around my body, because there is a catalyst, a trigger that usually triggers autoimmune diseases. And so during my time when I was in the military, I did some amazing things. And one of the most amazing things I did get to do was I got to do the Kokoda Trail in New Guinea. There was 144 SAS soldiers and me. I was the only female. I had to carry a 25-kilo pack
Wow.
on my own. People that do that, they get a pack, a packer to carry it, or a porter. We didn't have that opportunity. I had to carry it myself. So I had to be tough for the girls. And you know what? My mindset is, if I send the energy to the outcome that I want to achieve, I'll achieve it. And it showed that all I needed to do was see myself finishing, and somehow it would happen. And that's exactly what happened. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And it is one of the hardest walks as well. But I learned so much about myself and how strong I am during that time. But during that time, what we carried on that pack, what we had to carry. So you didn't take a whole change of clothes. I mean, one set of clothes you could take for 8 days in the jungle. Otherwise, you had to carry it. It's all heavy. It's all weight. So very restrictive during that time. So what I did is I made the decision that, you know what, I'm just going to wash in the creeks every single night. Like, sure, there's guys there. There's probably peeping toms, whatever. I'm not going to strip off, but I'm just going to wash myself. And what I really didn't realize is that in third world countries, people that live in third world countries, they're used to it. Their bodies are used to this. But those of us that are not from third world countries, literally snails wee and poo in the water. And so what actually happened is and mosquitoes are there as well. So I'm literally washing myself, not realizing what I was doing. And I came home very, very sick. That was 6 months later. I was rushed into hospital. I was put into isolation. I've been in isolation several times in my life, actually, but I was put into isolation so that what I had didn't spread, because it was highly contagious. I had a thing called schistosomiasis that actually came from washing in the water in the creeks. And it actually allowed a parasite into my skin, through my skin, that was eating my liver. So they had to put me into hospital. Like, when anyone visited me, my family couldn't visit me, but the doctors and nurses, they dressed up like they were on the moon coming to help me, and I was in there until they could get rid of it. And so that was the thing that actually triggered my autoimmune response. That was just a real wake-up call for me to go, oh my God, people are putting, what are they putting on their skin? Or even Botox, or even whatever chemicals are going into their skin. It's going through the skin into the body, that was just water that I was washing. So it was a real awareness of not only to regain my health, to do the inner work, the forgiveness and the healing, or all of those things that I needed to do, but also to be mindful of what went in, on, and around my body. Because also I worked with chemicals as an engineer for many years. So I do detoxes all the time to try to rid all of that damage that has happened, because, they weren't aware of the damages. A lot of my friends have passed away because of the chemicals that we've worked with. So I'm really conscious of, now I've regained my health back. I also had a major incident when I was in the military. I fell off an aircraft work stand and broke my back and had to learn how to walk again. So health to me is, you can have all the money in the world, you can have all the friends in the world. If you don't have your health, you've got absolutely nothing. So I'm passionate about health. People could see that. People would start to come asking me. And so then when I'm speaking at events and they're wanting me to talk about health, then, I manifested this gorgeous property as well that I have healing trees on it. Who does that? Because I'm attracted to the energy that I want to go. And, people just come, they ask me for help, and I coach them and I send them here, there, and everywhere. That became a bit of a problem because I felt, I guess, salesy, because they wanted the products that I had that we'd created, but I was also directing them to other places as well. And it was just a bit crazy. So what I thought, I'm a solutions-driven, results-driven person. I said, okay, what can I do to change that? Okay, and I manifest everything. I do my rituals and meditation every single day as well. And so what I needed to do is send the energy to where I needed to go. And I could see things as though they were already done. So when you put yourself into a position and you see, hear, and feel, you add energy to that, it becomes real, and the rest is history. Synchronicities show to make that happen. Because, if you say you want to go on a diet, for instance, you say I want to go on a diet, then all your favorite food just shows up. But if you reword it and say, I want to feel energetic and alive, and you've got more chance of staying on that. So this is no different what I do every single day. I put myself in the state as though I've already, and I'm celebrating that. And so I could see it as done. I could see this platform, an online marketplace. I have no idea. I'm not IT savvy. I'm not a marketing person either. I've had inflatable rashies that I've tried to market before, and they're an incredible product and a great solution for drowning, but hey, they didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it was pretty, I needed a marketing person. So when I could see it as done, that's all I needed. And then what the rest is history. What happened is my incredible business partner came to the Gold Coast just before COVID, and he said to me, Tam, I need you to speak on my platform, a physical platform in India, Singapore, and Malaysia on health. And he goes, if there's anyone that can speak on health, it has to be you. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so honored. You know, I'm Dorothy on my yellow brick road with my ruby red shoes, taking people with me. So I'm so excited about it. I'm honored, you know. And I said to him, oh my God, that's amazing. And then I was already thinking, all these people, so I've got to tell them about this platform that I hadn't even created at that time. Would that be okay? And he goes, of course. And his feedback was just phenomenal. Like, and I realized, hang on, he's an IT online marketing specialist. He's the one that I'm like, hang on, you're my missing piece to the puzzle. So we had done, Summer Collier and I had done a lot of personal development around the world. We've been in Malaysia. We've done Enlightened Warrior training. Any warriors out there, aho, because we know what it's like. You get pushed physically, mentally, spiritually beyond all limits until you're just a crumbling mess on the floor and you find your truth. And so Summer and I have got the same values, same beliefs, different attributes, obviously, and different strengths. So when he was showing me that, and I asked him, he said, oh my goodness, all right, I wouldn't do this for anyone else, but yes, I'll do it for you. And so we launched Zanara last May during COVID, and it was at the same time that we were being mentored by T. Harv Becker. So any T. Harv Becker guy, aho again. So T. Harv actually said to us during that time, at the chaotic time when everyone was like, oh my God, you know, he was like, give people what they want. They want healthy products. They want them stuff delivered to their homes. And we were like, oh my God, that's it. We're already doing this. And so Zanara was launched. And I must say that it wasn't initially Zanara. It was going to be called Organica, but when Summer agreed and his team came on board and they said it cannot be called Organica because they're not all organic products and people will get confused, so the week leading up to launch, they said, you got to change the name. We're like, what? Okay, and it doesn't need to be health related, just like Adidas doesn't need to be sporting goods. So we came up with Zanara. Just didn't get time to think about it. Just downloaded it. It came down. That's the name that came. And I do everything divinely. I download everything and I always ask the universe and it just shows up. So I got the name. One of my friends said, oh my God, we can see that you've launched. How come you changed the name? And then it was like, well, they said, do you know what Zanara actually means? And I said, no, we hadn't actually had a chance to do that just then. And he said, it means God's gifts. And it also means it has Indigenous Aboriginal heritage, which is why the Gumby that we have and the products that we're creating there with the Aboriginals, the big collaboration, just made so much sense. It's just like, you know, things are always happening for us. And when we get into that space, Aldwyn, where you're in the flow, everything comes effortless with grace and ease. And it's just a reminder to do the work, to do the inner work, to do the rituals. You know, I coach so many people to do this, and I just don't coach people to do it and expect them to do what I haven't done myself. I'm a leader, and so I do it first. So I'm constantly doing it, constantly doing the work on myself, constantly seeing the results. And it's the hard work that I've done over the years that has gotten to this.
Amazing. Wow, there's so much you shared there that I want to comment on. So wow, extraordinary. And you know, what you've done is just amazing because, you know, having a dream team around you is so crucial for success in life, success in business. And we were talking earlier about the wealth dynamics profile that Roger Hamilton created.
Yes.
through Extraordinary Lives Foundation, which is no longer around, Excel. And I was an original life member back with Excel back in 2006. And there's a wealth dynamics profile that's based on I Ching, where you find your path of least resistance, and you do a little personality profile, answer a few questions, and it tells you, it spits out, your profile and what you're naturally gifted at.
Yes.
And yours, what was yours, Tammy? Was star supporter?
Supporter and star. Yeah.
Supporter star, yep. And I'd say you probably got strong creator there as well.
Yeah.
And mine was star supporter deal maker, way off the scales that way. And the other side of the scales is people that are great at systems and good with detail and money and things like that, right? And I had hardly anything over that side. So, and people who are supporters.
What did I?
Yeah, and so you found a great partner to do the back end, right, to do all the IT, which is awesome. So, building your dream team is so crucial so you can stay in flow. Absolutely gold, that one point there, working out what it is where you are in flow. What is it that you love to do, where if money wasn't an issue, you would still do that thing, right? And then finding the people around you who love doing the back end side of things and doing other things that you don't enjoy, and building the team that way is really, really crucial. And there's all sorts of different personality profiling tools out there. Wealth Dynamics is just one of them. We've got DISC profiles, we've got the Gallup tests, there's so many different ones out there. And like yourself, Tammy, too, and you are like a cat with 9 lives. It's amazing some of the things you survived. Extraordinary. Like a cat with 9 lives, your time is not yet up, Tammy, and clearly for those around you, there's still a lot more for you to do on this planet, I can tell. You talked about the health products, and I know when I started looking into this, like things like sodium lauryl sulfate, propylene glycol, these are common products that are in skincare, and a lot of people have no idea that they are putting toxins on their skin with most personal care products that we buy in the supermarket. And then there's fluoride, right? Fluoride is a whole other beast as well. So, do your own research when it comes to what you put on your skin. Like I can't believe just from washing in that water there that you ended up with the parasites. And, we are so fragile as human beings, and, anything can happen at any moment. And, that's a big theme here, I think, is that your life is so fragile, and do what you love to do. And the other thing you mentioned about, that there wasn't much love in your family. And the thing to get there is that hurt people, right? And sometimes people don't realize that they're hurt because most people do the best they can with what they know. And often, abuse of any kind comes down through the generations, comes down through the family line. And so if you are being hurt right now, if you do have people around you that are hurting you, or that you're feeling hurt, which, by the way, no one can really make you feel hurt because you choose to feel hurt, right? So you do a lot of personal development, you take responsibility for everything in your life, right? And that is the most powerful place to stand, is being 100% responsible and at cause in your life, because we attract certain situations to teach us certain things and maybe to guide us on our path and our purpose through life. So there was so much gold in what you shared there, and I could listen to you all day. And you're obviously such a adventurous person. You're making the most of life. You're helping to save lives, which is just extraordinary. And I'm very grateful that I actually emceed at the launch of the sanctuary, which was at Burleigh Head Surf Club about 4 years ago or so. I emceed in front of about 200 people at the Burleigh Head Surf Club. And I remember at the time there was only about 4 guys in the audience at the sanctuary. That's a refuge for women, children, and their pets. There was only about 4 guys there in the audience. And I remember saying also, that this happens to men too, that men also have domestic violence. Some women can be incredibly cruel, and to men as well. Like, it goes both ways. Okay, so this may be a sanctuary for women, and of course it happens more to women than it does to men, being the stronger sex. However, in saying that, it seems to be okay for a woman to hit a man, but not for a man to hit a woman, right? So I also, which is not okay either way. It's not okay for anyone to hit anyone, but it's almost like we give so much to the women, and of course women need help too, but also guys. Also, I think it's important that that anyone in life, if you are tolerating abuse, people will only treat you as you allow them to treat you, whether you're male or female, and it happens both ways. So, getting conscious to these things and conscious to how you do life and what you're tolerating in life is really, really crucial. So we are talking today. Yeah, sorry, Tammy.
And sorry, just on that as well, is that just during COVID, we have noticed that it has gone out because people aren't feeling exactly great. So
Mm.
if you're out there and you're not feeling so great, go get some help, go and talk to someone. People, even a friend will listen to you. You don't have to just take it and just push it down, push it down, push it down, because unfortunately that's what happens is we don't actually take the responsibility, we push it down, and we don't think that we can share it with anyone, and it comes up and blows up like so. And that's when the domestic violence, and it's not just domestic violence, there's loads of stuff in the mental health is really affected. So I've seen that myself as well. So it's just about being conscious and speaking to someone and being aware that you are human, and these things can happen as well.
And getting out of your head and into your heart, which is the topic today, this is something that can be very, very challenging for people. And I know for myself, I am very much in my head a lot, and I've had to really, learn to step back and meditate and do yoga and connect with nature and all those things and come from the heart. And it takes something sometimes, because we're conditioned to come from the brain. We're conditioned as children by the mass media. We're conditioned to be thinking all the time, right? And
Yes.
a million bits of information coming our way every day. So how can people get out of their head and into their heart, Tammy?
Yeah, so, and actually I really enjoyed, even your good news stories and stuff that you're doing as well, because we turn on the TV, we're faced with it, all the negative energy, everything is out there. So we want to try and limit that as much as we can. So instead of turning on the TV and seeing the doom and gloom, because that's basically what the news is coming, there's not many good news stories nowadays, unfortunately. There's all these stories. And so you're filling your cup up with that, being consciously aware of who you surround yourself with, as you mentioned before as well, because if you do feel, I feel energy myself, and if you're with a negative Nancy and they're looking at the cup half empty most of the time and the doom and gloom, that's really going to take an effect of you as well. So just being conscious of that, your surroundings, making sure, like you've got space, you declutter. Cluttering your home, decluttering your body, decluttering your wardrobe just allows energy, frees up that wonderful space to allow new energy to flow in. So that's some things that you can do. But there's an amazing tip that I do every single day, and I'm going to share that with you guys. And sometimes it can be tricky for us to do these things. So this will be your homework, and we'll keep you accountable. So we'll check in a couple of weeks' time to see how you're going. But it's looking at different emotions that you have in your life, because often we are trained, as you mentioned, Aldwyn, to see what's wrong instead of what's right. So gratitude is a big thing. So before you get out of bed in the morning, before you put your feet on the floor, think of what you're grateful for. It doesn't need to be materialistic. It can be the fact that you've got love all around you, and focusing on it and thinking about if you feel like you're not feeling loved, what if you give love? What if you give a smile? You're going to get that back. So that's going to fill up your love tank as well. And it's okay to fill your own cup up as well. So do things for you other than before you do it for others, because otherwise you can't give from an empty cup. You want to have a cup overflowing, so that when you do give, when you do these fundraising adventures like I'm doing at the moment, it's, you're coming from a place of abundance. But there's a really good tip that we can do. We think of emotions. So there's 4 different emotions that I use. I look at proud, happy, excited, and love. Oh, sorry, there's 5, and laughter. So what I want you to do is, it can be tricky to think of 3 things with any one of those emotions, but just try thinking just of one from each of those categories. So look at a time when you were proud. And when I do this with my clients, it's so difficult because I can't even think of one time that they were proud. So it can be difficult. So I want you to write it down, and I want you to just think. Don't dismiss it. Don't let it go. Think of a time when you were proud. So when you get that moment, I want you to take yourself there. I don't want you to just write it down and be 3D. I want you to be 5D. I want the whole thing there. I want to see you looking down on yourself at that moment. I want all of those emotions that you felt during that time. I want you to see, hear, feel absolutely everything that happened at that time, and take on those emotions. If you can just do this for one proud moment, that's incredible. But if you can do it for 2 or 3, it just amplifies even more. This is called stacking. So we're doing proud, Then we're going to be doing happy. So often people can't even think of a time that they're happy. Like, what kind of a world do we live in that we're so crazy busy that we can't even think of a time that we're happy? Life is such a short journey. We need to fill it up with happy memories, not what's wrong, but what's right. So I encourage you to just even to go to one happy memory to begin with, and you can always add more later. But again, take yourself there in that moment and take on all of the energy, all of the seeing, hearing, and feeling in that moment as well. Then you do the same thing for love as well. Think of a moment when you felt, oh my God, I'm so in love, whether it's your parents, your children, or your lover, whatever it is. Just take yourself there and feel it. Just take it on, and then think about the times that you can just give your love as well, and think about the times that, like I know when I was little, I'd be thinking, oh my God, no one loves me, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, hang on, I was chosen to be here. I'm here for a reason. God or divine or whoever you want to believe in, I got through all these obstacles and I'm still here, so there must have been something there. So we can always think of some love, and then laughter. Laughter. I had a 100-day laughter challenge that I was going through at one time, and it was so incredible because then you're looking for moments that you laughed, and often we're laughing at ourselves. And so I've got so many that I'm like, oh my God, that was crazy, I'm doing that. So it's just encouraging you to go to that moment as well, and again, take on those emotions. And then the last one is excitement. So when was the last time you were so excited that you could just scream, like Dorothy on Yellow Brick Road, and you're like, oh my God, and you're just so excited. And it's about taking yourself there. So at that moment, when I get to the excited moment, that's when I dream. That's when I plan. That's when I see Summer and I creating this massive ripple effect of actually impacting the world with not just Sonara, but our new program that we're launching as well coming up. And I see it, and I see all the people's lives that we've affected at that time. And, I just feel so grateful that we've been able to do that. And then we just go on and on and on. Because why I do what I do, when I was a little girl, I had a mission to impact this world in third world countries. They're souls. I'm a soul. And fortunately, I made it here and I had a bit of a rough start. But, we're in a great country. There's other souls that aren't in the best countries. And you know what? People give. But when we give from a place, they get used to it and they're not actually being empowered. I see making an impact through empowering, training, speaking, giving them and encouraging them to do those things. And so we need a lot of money to do those things, right? So money is not a bad word. So it's being open to receiving the money that comes from the value that you offer the world, and really owning that and feeling it, and just saying, look, I'm really honored and grateful to have this, because with this I'm going to make a difference. So opening up those channels as well to there's so many more. Like, as I said, I run workshops, I run retreats for these things, but those little simple things will be, if people can start with those things, that is really going to, and they just take maybe to change a habit, it might take a little while, but they, start implementing and just seeing and taking notice of the progress and getting others to notice their changes as well, that they notice in them while doing that.
Fantastic. I love all those tips. And love and gratitude, I have my little love heart here. Love and gratitude are the highest vibrations. Yay, we got lots of love. Love and gratitude are the highest vibrations you will feel. And Kerry Joy is sending us love too. Hello, Kerry. Good to see you. And thank you for connecting us. Kerry connected me with Tammy. And then I realized we had a heap of mutual friends and so much in common. Phenomenal. Thank you, Kerry, for that. Spreading the love and gratitude, highest vibrations you will feel. The more you can come into love and gratitude, the better experience of life you will have, the more opportunities you will attract to yourself as well. And yes, while there is a hell of a lot of negative news in mainstream media, there is also a whole lot of positive news outlets out there now. We have Good News Network, we have Sunny Skies News, we have news.com.au that has a good news section. There is a lot of good news. It's all about what you choose to focus on and what you choose to believe. And I can tell you, having worked as a journalist behind the scenes for many, many years, there are definitely hidden agendas going on with the mainstream media. There were times I was asked to go out and get angles on stories that were not there. So if you believe everything you hear in the mainstream media, let me tell you right now that you are being brainwashed, and you may not realize you are being brainwashed on a lot of things. Of course, not all. There are some amazing journalists out there. There are some amazing media outlets. However, generally, when something is being bombarded through the media, such as COVID, such as 5G, vaccinations, all these sort of other things that have been popping up and been censored with fact checkers, etc., since COVID started, it's been very interesting to see what's been going on, right? And there's some people who are buying into the drama and who are living in fear, and there are others that are coming from love because, hey, tomorrow we could have a nuclear bomb that could land on us. Anything could happen tomorrow, right? And here we are focused on this little drama that's COVID, where anything could happen tomorrow. So there's always things we can be grateful for. And I think, if anything, COVID has actually helped bring people closer together. It's made people appreciate family more with a lot of people. A lot of people have been switching off the mainstream news because it is so negative. So, be really mindful, be conscious. And in your gut, you will know. And I knew when COVID came out in the news, I knew in my gut that something was fishy. Something really fishy was going on around COVID. And I felt prompted by God, by source energy. I felt prompted more than ever to share truth and good news. And hence why I started the Global Good News Challenge in June last year, to help lift people's spirits and have people come back to gratitude as much as possible. And it's so simple. It is so simple to not just, write what you're grateful for, think what you're grateful for, speak out what you're grateful for on the Global Good News Challenge. We have monthly challenges. You can join in, check out the Facebook page, Global Good News Challenge. And it's phenomenal how powerful it is when you share gratitude, and you automatically lift the energy in your body, and you lift the energy of those around you. Now, Tammy, you mentioned that you have mantras, you have a daily practice. What are some of the other things that you do to help you stay on track?
Yeah, so obviously being conscious of who you surround yourself with, you become, as you mentioned as well, and realizing that we're human. We are souls living a human experience. Things are going to happen. And as the things happen, as we grow, we evolve, we learn, they're the lessons that we're going to learn from. So don't allow the things that come up, because there's always things that come up, take you out.
Yes.
What you can do is choose to put the focus on where you want to go. So whenever something is happening, and I've had sometimes two of my kids, and one of my eldest daughters, she's we've been fighting to keep her alive for about 8.5 years. And again, we're on that journey, and again, I believe things happen for you. I'm a strong person, and, these are all gifts that we are given because we're learning so much. But at times, it's like people are saying, oh my God, how are you surviving? Blah, blah, blah. You've got this kid in Brisbane, this kid there. What on earth? And blah, and this is going on as well. Well, it's because I'm chosen to have these things happen because of the lessons that we're learning as well. And instead of focusing on the perturbation, you just can't. Like, you've got to focus on, where am I going? What's the lesson I'm learning here? Once you learn the lesson, you find, and then you've got to share it. And that's why I have so many messages I need to share, because I literally have been through so much, and I never ever let it take me out. So the rituals that I do, another great tip is to look into the mirror every single day, because looking into the mirror, and this is with your clothes off as well, okay? So your eyes are the window to your soul. This here, exterior, this is just, stuff around our soul. Where's our soul? Hidden down deep, all these things that happen that we become, we blame others, we judge others, we do blah, blah, blah. It's like that can make us really toxic. But if we try to see the beauty in every situation and try to send the energy to the outcome, it actually allows our energy to vibrate at a much higher rating as well. So when we're looking in the mirror, we're seeing all of the things, and often we see all the things that are wrong. But what I want you to do is to look in, do your affirmations, say, I am beautiful, I am happy, I am, I'm a money magnet, I am successful, I'm influential, whatever it is for you. You can write down a list of, if you had a list of what you could be, write it down. And there is no reason why you can't be that. It's your head telling you that you're not good enough, your head. So you've got to smash that little voice and say, you are good enough, you are worthy, you are deserving. People will listen to you. All of that negative self-talk, identify it, grab it. It is worthy, it is worthwhile, because if you didn't have those things, but what you're going to do is, thank you so much, I no longer need them, and vaporize them, blow them away, write them down, burn them, whatever you need to do. And every time you consciously, come up to those little things where your voice is taking you out, just Give it a name. Say, thank you, you're back again, see you later, blast, and replace it with a more empowering meaning. So when you're doing your rituals in the mirror and you're looking, look for the things that are good, not for the things that are bad. We often focus on, oh, we've got this pimple here or that pimple there. It's like, no, this is just skin, right? It's nothing. Look for what's right. Look for, go into your soul. What is your soul telling you? My soul tells me, my warrior name is running water. My soul tells me I need to go to the ocean. When I'm in the ocean, I'm in the water, I'm on the sand, I'm with Mother Nature in the rainforest. My soul comes alive. Find that place for you. Take yourself there. Don't sit at home and turn on the TV and see what's going on in the world there, all the negative stuff. Take yourself out. Be conscious of who you surround yourself with. If someone starts to go on with negative stuff and it's too much for you, walk away. Say, thank you so much for sharing. And, you don't need to be rude or anything like that. Sometimes we have negative people in our family that we need to deal with. Yeah, you can still talk to them and be there, but just restrict your time with them. So you want to fill your time up with people that really just nurture your soul and continue to push you on to be the best version of yourself. Celebrate your wins with you, lift up. So I've got a community that I'm about to run. I have a You Can Too community, which I have, but also a masterclass I'm about to put out there, because I have a lot of people that they want to have one-on-one mentoring with me, and I just don't have enough time. I'm running so many businesses, but what I do have at the time is for the masterclass, where all of these tips, all these tools, we're there to keep each other accountable, to support on those days when it's not really that, not feeling so great. Pull them up when they need it. Celebrate when they have the wins. And it got into the point that last year, and also putting yourself in environments that you really love. So I was running events at Versace and Sheraton, and I just amazing, incredible events. And everyone that was going to those events was manifesting big things. So much so that we were like, let's celebrate. And then it was like, oh my God, everyone's celebrating. All right, we got another celebration lunch. And we were like, let's just throw it all together, because we're all manifesting at the same thing, and we're all reminding ourselves to celebrate, because there's no point working towards a goal and then getting to the goal and going, oh, okay, what's next? You want to actually be celebrating. And I'm talking about, these are big goals. So being in a network, in an environment that allows and fosters those things, because with like-minded souls, because it's just going to help you accelerate that success, and mimicking those that have already done it. So what, I'm authentic, I'm real, I share, I stuff up. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm human. We all stuff up, but it's about being in that environment and doing the things that you want to do, being the leader, being the change in the world that you need to see, and having others join in with you.
Yeah, absolutely. More gold there, absolutely. And I love the mirror work you were talking about, and some people look at their faces and they go, oh, I got some new wrinkles here, I got some grey hairs, whatever. I look at wrinkles as wisdom lines, right? And they say souls are ageless. And something great I heard recently is, someone said at a workshop, they said, look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and say, I love you. I truly, truly love you. And, that is such a powerful thing to say to yourself, because, we are spiritual beings in a human body, and, we're vibrating a different energy. So, lifting your vibration and hanging out with higher vibration people, and generally higher vibration people are doing what they love, and they're nurturing themselves with nature. And something I love as well, Tammy, is to get into the ocean. And I'm in there usually a few times a week. I am near the beach and I'm in the ocean, and I know that whenever my energy is feeling flat, I will get into the ocean, or I'll do some yoga. They're usually my two things that I will do, or I'll have a nap sometimes if I do some restorative yoga, something like that. So listen to your body, connect with nature, connect with animals, connect with the beauty all around us. There is so much we can be grateful for, and so much we can celebrate in life. And back to the first aid courses, of course, if you value life, then it will be invaluable to have the skills of the first aid courses. So there it is. There's the flyer. Now, do you have a link we can pop in the chat? Is there a website we can just pop in here, Tammy?
www.firstaid, and then why you can too.
I'll put that in the comments. So www.firstaid, and then why you can. Is it YW or just why?
YUCAN2.com.
YUCAN number 2.com.
N as in N for Nelly. So why you can too. So
yes.
Yeah, I save a life, you can too. Yeah.
Is that right?
First, I can't even.
Have I done that right?
Kerry, can you see it? I can't even see it.
FIRSTYUCAN 2. Is that right?
Yes. First aid. Why you can too. Yeah,
first aid. Okay, first aid. Okay, we'll do it again. I'll delete the other comments. Okay, so, and again, take two. Okay, first aid, YUCAN number 2.com.
Yes.
All right? Mm-hmm. First aid, YUCAN 2 number 2.com. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the correct one.
Now,
right here. There it is. So just ignore the other one. God knows where that'll take you. Oh, there it is. First aid, why you can too. Okay. So it's there. So we'll delete the other comments.
Yeah, so it's where you actually go to register. It is a nationally recognised certificate. You will require to do the videos online before you attend and then physically attend. So it's for people that can get to the Gold Coast to do that. If there's people around Australia that want to do the training as well, I also do online training, and that's via Zoom as well. But this is specifically for people around, Northern New South Wales, Queensland, Gold Coast and Brisbane kind of areas, Sunshine Coast. We'd love the support because we're actually donating quite a large portion of the sales to be able to get the defibrillator. Now, we showcase the defibrillators on Zanara as well. So I wanted to give your viewers some goodies, some giveaways. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So what we've got is Zanara. So www.zenarah.com is my online marketplace that I manifested with my wonderful partner, Summer. So for every person that joins or has their first shop on Zanara, so that's free, there's no cost to join. We have a lot of entrepreneurs that have created incredible solutions for today's problems in the field of either natural, healthy, lifestyle or life-saving. We are after more products as well. If anyone has any electronics or clothing, things like that, we are trying to expand out as well. But for customers, if they want to purchase on there, if they put in a voucher code Zanara, so ZENARAH at the shopping cart for their first purchase, they will get I think it's 10% off. Yeah, 10% off that they get at the shopping cart. It reduces down, so that's a really big savings. And for those people that have that know people that have products that they've created. So entrepreneurs like yourself, Aldwyn, you probably know a lot of people that have their own products as well. So you have the opportunity to join as a partner. Again, there's no cost to join as a partner either. It's just introducing us to people that have got products in those categories that we are looking for. We have the conversation with them. If there's some synergy, they decide, yep, we want to join, we want to become a member, we want to showcase our products on Zanara and join the fast-growing collaborative group. Whilst the shop is on Zanara, for the whole lifetime that the shop is on there, in appreciation, you get 5% off all sales that goes from that shop. So that's a passive income, because we need to be mindful of creating passive incomes, and receiving the money while we sleep. That's a way that you can do that if you do know people that have got products in, shops in those categories. We're like a big shopping centre, like a Westfields. And they have a shop. It's really affordable for them to have a shop on there as well. We believe that they're creators, so they can spend their energy creating their products and coming up with incredible solutions for today's problems, and we can do the marketing for them to get it out through the collaborative approach. So it's a couple of different ways that you can benefit. But for joining in today as well, we've also got like a really awesome special as well. We've got a couple of shops on there that have given us some discounts as well, $100 vouchers actually, which is pretty cool. So one of the shops is My Orange, and we've got 30% off of a Miku as well. So I'll put that in the chat before we finish as well. If anyone wants to have those details as well, they just join on to Zanara, send us an email from Zanara and just say, hey, I want the vouchers, and it'd be our absolute pleasure to be able to send them the vouchers that they can use at the shops as well, because we're all about growing, expanding, collaborating together. We've got one more way that you can benefit as well for those people that might not know people that have got products, but they're interested in making additional source of income, because a lot of people were affected during COVID as well with their jobs, and the income's been reduced, and with the job seeker or whatever it's called, going to be reducing very soon. This is a way that people can earn money just by helping us. So if they're interested in becoming an affiliate, there's no cost again. There's a button on the actual Zanara website that they can click the affiliate. It allows us then to have a conversation with them or to send them information on how they can become an affiliate. They get a code and they share that code to encourage people to buy from the shops that are already on Zanara. And every time there's a sale made, they get 5%. So the difference between the partnership and the affiliate is a code that they get for all the shops, but they've got to continue to share their code. Whereas if you're a partner, it happens organically. So every time there's a sale made, once you've actually introduced a shop, like even one shop, that's it. That's all you need to do, because every time there is a sale, thank you so much for introducing, we're going to reward you for that, because what we know is that customers are gold. We really want to reward, and we know that we can't do it all by ourselves. I know a lot of people, but this is a way that we can help other people get on board as well.
Awesome. Fantastic. Some fantastic opportunities. And I know Assad Sarafi. Hello, Assad. Good to see you. He says, very enlightening. And I know Assad has some brilliant products. This could be a good alliance for you, actually, Assad. Assad donated some wonderful products for the Animal Action Night last year that we did, raising funds for SEQ Canine Rescue, for an amazing charity between the Gold Coast and Brisbane that helps save dogs from death row. And in fact, in the last 4 years, it's saved 1,800 dogs from death row from pounds, because if dogs don't get collected from pounds within 7 days in Australia, they get put down more often than not. And this amazing charity, SEQ Canine Rescue, actually help to save these dogs and again get them rehomed. So thank you, Assad, for the great work you do. Thank you for that lovely comment. Tammy, you're extraordinary. What an amazing lady, so inspiring. And I can't wait to do your first aid course myself. I'll be doing it shortly. So come and join me. I think I'm doing on the 20th or so. So really looking forward to that. And we have those links there in the comments. So it's firstaidyoucan2.com and zanara.com in the chat there. I'll make sure that it's also in my profile. So this has been streaming to my Facebook profile, to the Facebook Aldwyn Altuney Media Queen page, and to Media Queen TV on YouTube. Tammy, any final words you'd like to say, Tammy, about getting out of your head and into your heart, or any other words of wisdom you'd like to share before we wrap up today?
Absolutely. So what I want you to remind yourself is that you're already enough. Everything that you need is already within you. Sometimes things can happen and can take you out and start you getting a little bit paranoid. Trust me, I've had things happen to me like that as well, that I start to wonder about society and people out there. But remember to tell yourself that you're good enough, to tell yourself that you're meant to be here, to tell yourself that you're chosen to be here and that you're making a big difference. Anyone else's opinion of you has nothing to do with you, and nothing to do with you, but everything to do with them. So it's about filling up your cup. And lastly, when we talked about the mirror work before, that was shown to me by a very special friend, Lisa Nichols. And Lisa Nichols was in Chicken Soup for the Soul and on The Secret. Yes. And so she was my mentor for a couple of years. I was so grateful to have her as my mentor. And so she taught us that during that time. And it isn't just about looking at the imperfections or the perfections. What it actually does is, when you're doing your affirmations into the mirror, so through your eyes into your soul, it's attracting it back to you. So rather than just doing it, saying, I am happy, I am whatever, you're trying to wish for things, it's so much more powerful in the mirror. And that's the reason why, mirror work is so powerful as well. So
beautiful.
Do what you need to do. I would love to hear how everyone goes with all these little tips and stuff like that. And if you want to know any more, you know where to find me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Google both of us. You'll find us all over the place. Tammy, Richie, Aldwyn, Altuney. Just Google us. You'll find us all over social media, all over the internet. Lisa Nichols is extraordinary. So many amazing people out there, and I'm so grateful for all the mentors I've had, for the $500,000 or so that I've invested into my personal development and business education, etc. in the last 15 years or
Yes.
so. So grateful for all of my mentors and all that knowledge, and and there's always more to learn. You never learn less, right?
No,
So,
exactly.
being open to exploring and being the best version of yourself is a really beautiful thing. And
Yeah.
I have some amazing events coming up too, where if people want to get publicity, I have a phenomenal workshop I do called Free Publicity Secrets. If you look at freeprsecrets.com, I've got the next event coming up 20th of February. It is a free event, and there is so much content. I've had some amazing reviews already from the few workshops that I've held this year. It is a live workshop, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So hop along there if you want to get publicity, if you want to step up with your message, be seen, be heard, be known. If now is the time for you to make a difference for yourself and for others in your life, then that is an amazing event. I also have free mass media tribe events that I run every month, and we've got our next one on the 3rd of March, and we have Carmen Braidwood coming, who's a TV reporter from Perth, TV and radio reporter, and she's going to talk about confidence on camera in business. So if you want to get yourself out there and put some video content out, then that's going to be a great session as well, 3rd of March. And we have the next Global Good News Challenge as well coming up 1st to the 3rd of March. It's a 3-day Facebook Live challenge. And just go to Global Good News Challenge Facebook page for that. So lots going on. Follow me in Eventbrite if you want to get all my event updates. Just look up Aldwyn Altuney in Eventbrite. You'll find a whole heap of events that we have ongoingly, and very grateful for my amazing team that helped me with my business and helped me get out there too. And I love what you said, Tammy, that Gandhi quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And
Yes.
another one of my favorite quotes is by Margaret Mead. It says, "A small group of thoughtful people can change the world. And in fact, it's the only thing that ever has." I love that quote. Any other favorite quotes you live by, Tammy?
Live life to the fullest, I suppose. Yeah. So it's be the change in the world you need to see. What's another good one? There's just so many that,
Yes.
resonate with that, just by being the leader. So I lead, not follow, I create, not destroy.
Mm,
All about leadership, because
yes.
you can't expect others to do things that you're not doing yourself. So it's about stepping up, doing it, and then sharing what you're learning, and that's the best type of leadership that you can get.
Yes, yes, and sharing the love with yourself and with others. Thank you so much, Tammy. It's extraordinary what you do. You're so inspiring, and we're sending you love. Thank you so much for watching us. Please pop into the comments. What have you got out of this interview? And what are maybe some new practices you're going to take on to get out of your head and into your heart? What are some things that you'll do from here? What have you learned today? Love to hear from you in the comments, and also where you are joining us from around the world. Thank you so much, Tammy. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. Make sure you subscribe to Media Queen TV as well on YouTube. If you haven't already, we have about 600 videos on there. Some amazing interviews with the likes of David Icke and Michael DeMaco Rowland, who's no longer with us. Some phenomenal interviews, very inspiring people. So check that out as well. Thank you so much. Thanks, Tammy. Thank you. And
My heart to your heart. Thank you for the interview. It's amazing.
thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you. Mwah. See you again soon. Bye for
Okay, bye.
now.